If there is one piece of advice I hope everyone takes from solo travel, it's this: walking tours, the best thing ever. Guidebooks are great, don't get me wrong. They give you the history, the context, but nothing, and I mean nothing, beats exploring a new city with someone who actually lives it, someone who loves it, someone who calls it home. Because suddenly, it's not just streets and buildings anymore. It's stories. And just like that, episode 3 of my Rwanda travel series begins. Mwaramutse, mwiriwe from wherever you are watching from. Nitwa Brenda, but you can just call me Brie. I am a travel storyteller, an explorer at heart, and a planner by nature. If I have exploded, finish with me, best believe I am giving you all the tea. In the last episode, I shared my first 24 hours in Kigali, food, transport, and my first impressions. But today, we are exploring Kigali on foot. And at the end of the vlog, I will share with you how you can also book yourself a walking tour in any city or country you visit. Our walking tour began at the Kigali Genocide Memorial, a place of remembrance and learning, where over 250,000 victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi have been laid to rest. Starting here is completely necessary as it will set the tone for everything else you will see in Rwanda. We began with watching an introductory film, listening to survivors recount how they lost their families and how they've tried to rebuild since. After that, we continued through the memorials exhibitions, which present the history of Rwanda before, during, and after the genocide. I was deeply touched by the children's room. It's the simplest and least graphic of the exhibits, yet the most heart-wrenching. The room is filled with life-size photos of children shared by their families. Small plaques accompany each photo, listing the child's name, age, favorite toys, hobbies, and dreams for the future. One girl loved Fanta mixed with milk and dreamed of becoming a doctor. Another was known for making people laugh. Another loved singing and dancing. And every description ended with the same quiet fact: how the child was killed. It's hard to fully comprehend what people went through, how quickly everything unraveled, and how many lives were changed forever. But seeing what Rwanda is today, in contrast, is nothing short of remarkable. If you are planning a visit, entry is free, though donations are encouraged to support the maintenance of the site. The memorial is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. except on the last Saturday of the month, when it opens from 1 p.m. because of Umuganda, the National Community Service Day. Photography is allowed outside, but not inside the museum. The visit to the memorial took about an hour and a half, and afterwards we hopped on a motor and headed to downtown Kigali. This is Kigali CBD, locally known as Mujyi, and it was my first time here. I didn't even know this part of Kigali existed. If I am being honest, I was instantly fascinated. It is the busiest part of the city, people moving about their business, motors everywhere, but somehow still so orderly and clean. There was no persistent hawking or aggressive street vending, something that is common in many other major African cities. You can find just about anything here, from electronics to clothes to handmade baskets and pottery, all in one place. I even made my way into one of the malls, and for my Nairobi viewers, the closest reference I can give is the malls in Eastleigh, but more structured and very organized. Come, let me take you around. As I was walking through, I learned something really interesting. Rwanda actually banned the importation of second-hand clothing and footwear, which actually makes a lot of sense when you see how much local and new clothing is being sold here. I also dropped by the bus park in downtown, and Kigali's transport system was designed with efficiency in mind, and it shows. They have moved away from the chaotic matatus or minibuses that we see in many African capitals to a formalized high-tech bus system. The terminal is well organized with seated waiting areas and multiple booths for passengers. The buses run on set schedules and routes, and the destinations and routes are marked by the colors of the buses and a screen at the front. Access is fully cashless. One must use a tap and go smart card, which can be purchased and topped up at the bus terminals. Many of these buses are 100% electric, making the streets quieter, cleaner, and carbon-free. And you need to hear this. They recently introduced dedicated bus lanes on some of their roads to help ease traffic congestion. It is a system that prioritizes order, clarity, and sustainability, and you feel that as soon as you step into these buses. We continued walking through the city with my guide Cedric, who was not only knowledgeable but genuinely great company.
First that way, still climbing.
Oh wow. How much? Money? 5,000. As you explore Kigali, you will notice street signs with letters KJ, KN, KK. I asked Cedric what they meant, and guess what?
This is Kigali. You said Nyashawa?
𝙪𝙧𝙪𝙧𝙪𝙪
Nyarujenje. And then four is
It's a street. It's
a street number. Avenue. Oh, so this is Kigali Nyarujenje for Avenue. Then this is Kigali Nyarujenje.
It turns out they mark the districts. Kigali is divided into 3 administrative districts: Gasabo, Kichukiro, and Nyarujenje. The K stands for Kigali, and the second letter identifies the district. Once you get it, following the signs feels like a secret map of the city. So clever. Part of the walking tour included a stop at the Kigali car-free zone, now called the Imbuga City Walk. It's located right in the middle of the CBD along KN4 Avenue, just like the street naming system I mentioned earlier. I had briefly showed you this side of Kigali in episode 2 of the series, but this time we had more time. So we took it slow, walked through the space, explored it properly, and stepped into a few stalls selling snacks, souvenirs, and local crafts.
How much fridge magnets? My friend wants a fridge magnet. I'll come and ask. Oh, this is nice. Made out of paper. This is how much? And this one? And this? Okay. I think we'll put them on
For
the wall.
decorations.
If I want to use them as table mats. How much?
With coasters.
It comes with coasters.
Yes.
Okay. And then this one's for decorations. 5. Even have them. Okay. Of course, I will come. And this in Birimbo art.
Imigongo.
Imigongo. This is how much?
It's a different size.
Show me.
And this one is 6,000 for 2.
The big ones over there.
15.
Which one is the one that shows Rwanda's culture? It's
The
black
big
and
one.
white.
The black and
And
white.
in round or in square? All of.
It is also a popular spot for photos, particularly with the iconic Kigali sign. But please do not sit, climb, or stand on the letters. I learned that in real time, so it's worth knowing this before you get here.
It's not allowed.
Sorry, I didn't know. Sorry.
Surprisingly, there were no warning signs like the Onyo Usikae Hapa, which translates to warning, sitting is not allowed. But locals already knew not to. Coming from Kenya, you would definitely expect a sign. And let's be honest, half the time we would ignore the sign and still sit anyway. Karibu Kenya, tuna tabia zetu. Anyway, let's continue with the tour. Visitors have access to free public Wi-Fi, street benches for relaxing, and clean public restrooms. I recommend visiting during evening hours for a more enjoyable experience.
Raho? Angali. 1,000.
stop on the tour was the Belgian Peacekeepers Memorial located at Camp Kigali, a former Rwandan military base. It commemorates the 10 Belgian soldiers who were killed while protecting the Prime Minister at the beginning of the '94 genocide against the Tutsi. The Memorial Center stands on the exact site where the peacekeepers were killed. A small exhibit inside provides a timeline of the events along with biographical information honoring each soldier.
Injured me, I cannot cry. Exaggerated acting, hard to grasp, I find. Clumsy me, troubles always catch up, it seems. Sad night.
Within the compound, you can still see the bullet-scarred walls of the building where they made their final stand. The site is preserved in its original condition to serve as a stark reminder of the events that took place here.
Lonely thoughts, hard to express. Truly live for today, drunk on wine's delight. Worries of tomorrow, let them come as they might. Joy, even for a moment, is change.
Stone pillars have been erected in their honor, each marked with the soldiers' initials at the bottom. Horizontal notches carved into the stone indicate the age of each soldier at the time of their death. Most of them were in their 20s. Outside of Umuganda, which ends around 11 a.m., the memorial is typically open daily from around 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Entry is free, though a small donation to the on-site custodian or guide will be appreciated. A typical visit takes between 15 to 45 minutes. Our final stop of the day was Nyamirambo. As we arrived, the Muad'Din's call to prayer filled the air, and instantly it felt familiar. It reminded me of home.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Often referred to as Kigali's Muslim quarter, largely because of its significant Muslim population, Nyamirambo is Kigali's oldest and most lively neighborhood. The area feels unlike anywhere else in Rwanda. Here, people don't just live behind gates. They sit on their doorsteps. It felt like a community, almost like walking through the streets of Old Town in Mombasa. Nyamirambo is also one of the best places in Kigali for budget-friendly food and accommodation. The well-known Biryogo car-free food street is located here, which made it a natural choice for our lunch stop. Interestingly, the Biryogo car-free zone used to be an informal settlement before being transformed into a food street. Today, People can sit and indulge in good and affordable food from one of the many restaurants. My guide Cedric actually mentioned that the area becomes even more lively in the evenings and on weekends. The streets come to life, making it look like a food festival site. He recommended coming back later to experience a different side of it, and you bet. It's also worth noting that alcohol isn't served here. Instead, you'll find a range of non-alcoholic options, soft drinks, coffee, and even traditional Rwanda porridge, locally known as 𝙪𝙾𝙾𝙪. We ended the day back at the Imbuga City Walk, doing a bit of people watching, and it felt like the perfect way to wind down after a full day. I was also waiting for my money exchange contact, who's usually based in Nyabugogo, but since we had built up a bit of a rapport, he was kind enough to come to where I was. Spending the day exploring Kigali on foot offered a closer look at the city, its calm, its order, and its quiet beauty. These walks often reveal places that one had not planned for, like downtown Kigali, and naturally, they end up shaping the rest of the trip. I explored Kigali on a guided walking tour with Cedric, a thoughtful guide whose approach felt personal and genuinely curated. And I booked the experience through a platform called Guru Walk, which specializes in free walking tours. It is worth noting that free doesn't mean entirely free. These tours operate on a tip basis. At the end of the tour, you tip based on how you valued the experience. Many travelers tip somewhere between $15 and $50, but ultimately it's up to you. Until the next episode, happy exploring.